Let's be brutally honest. When you woke up this morning, what did you feel? Was it a clean ignition, clear, vibrant energy, a sense that your mind and body were fueled and focused, ready to sprint toward what you care about? Or was it something else? A weight? A kind of biological fog that clings even after a shower and a coffee? Maybe it was the dull ache of a restless night, the low hum of anxiety, the jittery dependence on caffeine to feel baseline human. Maybe you tapped snooze, twice, 3 times. Maybe you reached for your phone before you even sat up, eyes still half closed, scrolling, searching for, what? News? Notifications? A spark? For millions of us, that fog, that feeling has become normal. We try to push through with willpower and hacks. We stack supplements, we chase the next productivity trick, we hope the next Monday will be different. But here's the truth you've suspected. You're not underperforming because you're lazy or broken. You're underperforming because your biology is out of tune with the single most powerful external force that has ever shaped human life, the daily rhythm of the Sunday. We live in a silent epidemic of circadian disruption. Our bodies evolved under an open sky, in a world where morning arrived with a wash of bright, blue-yellow light, and evening settled with the warm amber of sunset and the deep dark of night. Today, we live inside. We wake to glowing rectangles inches from our faces. We commute behind UV-filtered glass. We work beneath overhead LEDs that never change. We end the day with screens that shout daytime at our brain, long past sunset. We've drifted, quietly, gradually, away from the clock that regulates our hormones, our metabolism, our immune system, our mood, our focus, and our sleep. And when that master clock is adrift, everything else is a struggle. So here's the promise I'm making to you in this video. By the end of this, you'll know exactly how to realign your biology with a simple, free, scientifically grounded practice that requires no gadgets, no subscriptions, and no complicated routines. If you implement it for 7 days, really implement it, you will feel the difference. Not a placebo, not a motivational sugar rush, a measurable shift in how you wake, think, move, and sleep. It's foundational, it's elegant, and it's been hiding in plain sight. By the way, if you're enjoying this, hit subscribe so you don't miss more health insights. Today, we're drawing on the work of Dr. Andrew Huberman, a neuroscientist and tenured professor at the Stanford University School of Medicine. He's earned global trust because he translates complex, peer-reviewed science into tools you can use, tools that work because they're built on biology, not belief. And among all his tools, one stands out. It's the keystone habit that amplifies everything else: your energy, your focus, your mood, your sleep, your performance. It begins with a mistake most of us make in the first 5 seconds of our day. It begins with your phone.
I wake up in the morning and I want to reach for my phone. But I know that even if I were to crank up the brightness on that phone screen, it's not bright enough to trigger that cortisol spike and for me to be at my most alert and focused throughout the day and to optimize my sleep at night.
Let that land. The first thing many of us do each morning, the reflex that feels harmless, even productive, is quietly sabotaging the entire day's arc of energy and sleep. Not because phones are evil, not because dopamine is bad, but because the light they emit is biologically weak. Imagine your brain as a precision engine that needs a strong ignition signal each morning. Smartphone light? That's a damp match. It grabs your attention, but it fails to give your physiology, the day has begun, signal your master clock requires. It's junk light, attention-grabbing, biologically underpowered. Your brain isn't actually hungry for information at wake-up, it's hungry for certainty. The certainty that morning has started. The certainty that sends a clear command to every system in your body: wake, focus, mobilize, prepare. That signal doesn't come from texts or headlines. It comes from a very specific pattern of light that is abundant outdoors and almost entirely absent indoors, especially in those first minutes of the day. Here's the move that changes everything. It's not complicated, it's not expensive, and yes, It's powerful.
So what I do is I get out of bed and I go outside, and if it's a bright, clear day and the sun is low in the sky, or the sun is, starting to get overhead, what we call low solar angle, then I know I'm getting outside at the right time. If there's cloud cover and I can't see the sun, I also know I'm doing a good thing, because it turns out, especially on cloudy days, you want to get outside and get as much light energy or photons in your eyes.
Inside your brain sits a tiny, exquisitely tuned structure called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the SCN. Think of it as your master clock, the chief conductor of an orchestra with thousands of instruments, hormones, immune cells, neurotransmitters, enzymes, the rhythmic dance of your metabolism, even the timing of your body temperature. The SCN doesn't play the music itself. It sets the tempo so every instrument knows when to come in, how loud to play, and when to rest. But a conductor needs a downbeat. It needs an unambiguous cue to start the symphony of your day. That cue arrives through a dedicated fiber optic line from your eyes to your SCN. In your retina, beyond rods and cones, beyond the cells that let you perceive shape and color, live specialized neurons called intrinsically photosensitive retinal ganglion cells. They're rich in melanopsin, a photopigment uniquely sensitive to the blue-yellow light signature of morning. These cells are not for seeing, they're for knowing that it's day, knowing it's time. When that morning light hits those cells, they fire a command straight to the SCN. It's morning. Go. The SCN, in turn, orchestrates a cascade. It triggers a healthy, robust rise in cortisol. Not the chronic, stress-fueled drip we fear, but a precise morning pulse, your ignition spark. This pulse is tightly linked to mental clarity and physical readiness. If your mornings feel heavy, slow, groggy, your cortisol pulse is likely mistimed or underpowered. It also starts a countdown in the pineal gland, the region that produces melatonin, the hormone that makes you feel sleepy. Morning light says, prepare but not yet, establishing a 14 to 16 hour delay before melatonin rises. Translation: the way you view light in the morning sets the stage for how easily you fall asleep at night. If 11 p.m. has become a wrestling match with your pillow, check 7 a.m. You're likely missing the light that programs tonight's sleep. This is biological elegance. It's not a trend, it's the architecture of your species. And here's a beautiful twist. Nature is generous. Even on cloudy days, outdoor light is orders of magnitude more intense and spectrally different than indoor light. Clouds scatter and diffuse light, but they don't erase the wavelengths that your melanopsin cells crave. The signal still gets through. So when you step out under a cloudy sky, don't think wasted, think dose delivered.
But let's say it's a very clear day and I can see where the sun is. I do not need to stare directly into the sun. If it's very low in the sky, I might do that because it's not going to be very painful to my eyes. However, if the sun is a little bit brighter and a little bit higher in the sky, sometimes it can be painful to look at. So the way to get this sunlight viewing early in the day is to look toward the sun.
Your body includes brilliant safety systems. Pain and squinting aren't flaws to override, they're guardrails to follow. If it's uncomfortable to look at a point in the sky, you don't need to stare at the sunday, you don't need to force anything. Simply being outside, eyes open, facing the general direction of the sun, taking in a wide field of view, letting that ambient morning light flood your retina is enough. A few minutes of this is more potent than an hour by a bright window, which brings us to the shortcuts that fail. Windows and windshields are engineered to filter and attenuate specific wavelengths and intensities. Indoor light, even bright indoor light, is a fraction of outdoor intensity. The glass that protects your skin and upholstery also mutes the very spectral cues your melanopsin cells are hunting for. It's like listening to a symphony through a wall. You'll hear something, but the bass is gone, the violins are thin, the rhythm is muddy. Your clock hears the same mushy signal and stays tentative, unsure, imprecise. And sunglasses? They do their job. They block light. That's useful later in the day. In the morning window, sunglasses blunt the most important signal you'll get all day.
For this morning sunlight viewing, it's best to not wear sunglasses. That's right, to not wear sunglasses, at least for this morning sunlight viewing. It is absolutely fine to wear eyeglasses or contact lenses, so-called corrective lenses. In fact, those will serve you well in this practice or this tool because they will focus the light onto your neural retina and onto those melanopsin intrinsically photosensitive ganglion cells.
So here's your simple rule. In the morning, go outside with bare eyes or your normal prescription lenses. Skip the sunglasses for these few minutes. You're not toughing it out, you're feeding your clock. I know what some of you are thinking. Really? Just go outside? That's the secret? It sounds almost too simple in a world of biohacks and stacks and complex protocols, but simplicity is often a marker of foundational truth. In 2017, the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine was awarded for discoveries of the molecular mechanisms controlling circadian rhythms. This is not fringe, this is core human physiology. And what you're about to adopt is the simplest, most powerful way to synchronize your biology with the environment it was built for.
First of all, this is not some woo biology thing. This is grounded in the core of our physiology. There are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of quality peer-reviewed papers showing that light viewing early in the day is the most powerful stimulus for wakefulness throughout the day, and it has a powerful positive impact on your ability to fall and stay asleep at night.
Let's translate that into experiential terms, what you will actually feel and notice when you implement this. Mornings stop feeling like mud. That engine won't turn over sensation. It recedes. You'll feel an upright signal, a natural clarity that doesn't require caffeine to achieve basic function. Your focus stabilizes. That wobbly attention that drifts every 10 minutes, it tightens. You'll feel longer stretches of clean concentration. The 2 to 4 p.m. slump, the heavy eyelids, the craving for sugar or a nap diminishes. You'll feel a smoother energy curve. Evenings change. Instead of a second wind at 10 p.m. that pushes you into another hour of scrolling, you feel a gentle tide pulling you towards sleep at the right time. Sleep onset improves. Sleep depth improves. You stop waking up at 3 a.m. staring at the ceiling. You wake feeling more restored. And here's the kicker. This single habit amplifies every other good habit. Exercise feels more doable. Workflows feel more coherent. Nutrition choices feel easier. Why? Because your baseline physiology is finally cooperating. You've stopped fighting the current.
In general, on a clear day, meaning no cloud cover or minimal cloud cover, you want to get this sunlight exposure to your eyes for about 5 minutes or so. Could be 3 minutes one day, could be 7 minutes the next day, about 5 minutes. On a day where there's cloud cover, so the sun is just peeking through the clouds or it's more dense cloud cover, you want to get about 10 minutes of sunlight exposure to your eyes early in the day. And on days that are really densely overcast or maybe even a rainy, you're going to want to get as much as 20 or 30 minutes of sunlight exposure.
Think about this like calibrating a lens. On bright, clear mornings, 3 to 7 minutes does the job, 5 is a great target. On cloudy mornings, aim for 10. On heavily overcast or rainy days, give yourself 20 to 30 minutes. It's not punishment, it's nourishment. You can walk the dog, sip your coffee, stretch, think, or do nothing. Just be outside, eyes open to the sky, letting reality, actual daylight, set your internal clock. Now let's craft an image, a picture you can step into tomorrow morning. You wake. You resist the reflex to reach for your phone. Not forever, just for a few minutes. You sit up, feet on the floor. Maybe you take one slow breath in, one long breath out. You put on shoes, maybe a hoodie. You step outside. The air meets your skin. Cool, present, real. You look toward the general direction of the sun, not directly at it. You soften your gaze, widen your field of view. You let the day arrive in your eyes. If it's bright, you stay for 5. If it's cloudy, you stay for 10. If it's raining, you find a covered spot and listen to the sound of water while the sky does its work on your biology. And as you stand there, understand what's happening under the surface. Your SCN locks onto the downbeat of day. Your cortisol pulse rises, cleanly, appropriately. Your core body temperature begins its upward slope, which correlates with alertness and cognitive performance. Your melatonin production is suppressed now and placed on a precise timer to return to night. Your peripheral clocks, yes, there are clocks in your liver, your gut, your muscles, receive the message. We're on schedule. Metabolism primes. Focus circuits engage. Mood-stabilizing neurotransmitters align. You haven't taken anything, you haven't bought anything, you simply allowed the environment you evolved for to do what it does when you let it in. Now, one of the most empowering aspects of this practice is that you can measure your own results, not with a lab, with your senses. You're going to run a 7-day experiment, no spreadsheets needed. Use a simple note on your phone or a pocket notebook. Morning alertness, 1 to 10. Afternoon energy, 1 to 10. Mood stability, 1 to 10. Sleep onset ease, 1 to 10. Sleep quality upon waking, 1 to 10. Each morning, note the previous night's sleep onset, ease and quality. Each afternoon, note your energy. Each evening, note mood stability. That's it. At the end of 7 days, look for the slope. You'll likely see a rise in morning alertness by day 3 or 4. You'll feel afternoons smooth out by day 4 or 5. Sleep onset often improves within the first week. The data is your experience. When your own biology proves it to you, this habit will stick. Let's go back, once, to the feeling that started this conversation. The fog, the heaviness, the frustration of working so hard and feeling like your body isn't cooperating. That feeling is not your destiny. It's a miscommunication, your environment speaking the wrong language to your biology. Morning light is the translator. It tells your brain in a language it cannot ignore. It's time. And when your brain hears that, your life feels different. You become the person who can access your stored potential consistently. Before we close, let's go even deeper. Because this is not just about feeling a little more awake in the morning. This is about unlocking a level of performance and resilience that most people never experience, simply because they never align with their biology. Think about this. Your brain is not a static machine. It is a dynamic, living network that changes its wiring every single day. Neuroplasticity, the ability of your brain to rewire itself, is not random. It is gated by time of day. In the morning, after that cortisol pulse, your brain is in a heightened state of plasticity. This is when learning is most efficient. This is when your brain is primed to encode new information, to adapt, to grow. If you miss that morning light, you blunt the very signal that opens the gate to learning. You are literally leaving intelligence on the table. Now imagine stacking this with your goals. You want to learn a new skill, a language, an instrument, a technical subject. You want to train your body, build strength, improve coordination. The morning light habit doesn't just make you feel better, it makes your brain more receptive to change. It makes your practice stick. It accelerates progress. This is why elite performers, from athletes to entrepreneurs, obsess over circadian alignment. They know it's not optional. It's the foundation. And it doesn't stop with the brain. Your immune system is also circadian. The timing of light exposure influences the activity of immune cells, the release of cytokines, the very rhythm of your body's defense system. People who are chronically circadian disrupted, like shift workers, have higher rates of infection, higher rates of cancer, higher rates of metabolic disease. This is not coincidence. This is biology. When you align with light, you are not just boosting energy, you are fortifying your defenses. You are literally making yourself harder to break. Let's make this personal. Imagine 2 versions of you. Version 1 wakes up, scrolls the phone, stumbles through the morning, fights grogginess with caffeine, crashes in the afternoon, struggles to sleep at night. That version is always behind, always compensating, always fighting uphill. Version 2 wakes up, steps outside, gets the light, sets the clock. Energy rises naturally, focus sharpens. The day flows. Sleep comes easily. That version is not fighting. That version is riding the current. Which version do you want to live as? Now, let's talk about something most people never consider: mood. Depression, anxiety, seasonal affective disorder, all are linked to circadian disruption. Light is not just about vision. It is about emotion. The same melanopsin cells that signal your SCN also project to brain regions that regulate mood. Morning light increases serotonin, the neurotransmitter of well-being, of confidence, of calm focus. Over time, consistent morning light exposure is associated with lower rates of depression and greater emotional stability. This is not self-help talk, this is peer-reviewed science. And here's the empowering part. You don't need to wait months to feel it. Many people notice mood improvements within days. That subtle heaviness, that background irritability, that sense of being slightly off begins to lift. You feel more resilient, more grounded, more capable of handling stress. Imagine what that does for your relationships, your work, your creativity. Imagine what it does for your sense of self. Now, let's address the skeptics. Maybe you're thinking, it can't be this simple. If it were, everyone would be doing it. But think about it. The most powerful truths are often the simplest. Everyone knows exercise is good. Everyone knows sleep is important. Everyone knows vegetables are healthier than candy. But knowing is not the same as doing. The reason most people don't do this is not because it doesn't work. It's because it's free, it's simple, and it doesn't come in a shiny package. There's no marketing budget behind the sunrise, but that doesn't make it less powerful. It makes it more pure. So, here's the reframe. You are not just someone who tries this, you are someone who claims an edge that most people ignore. You are someone who takes the free, foundational, scientifically proven tool and uses it to rise above the noise. That is power. That is leverage. That is how you separate yourself. Let's also talk about longevity. Circadian alignment is not just about today's energy, it is about long-term health. Misaligned circadian rhythms accelerate aging. They increase risk of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, neurodegeneration. Aligned rhythms protect against them. Every morning you step outside, you are not just setting up a better day, you are investing in a longer, healthier life. You are literally slowing the clock of aging. And here's the beauty. This is not all or nothing. Even if you've lived years out of sync, you can reset. The body is forgiving. The brain is plastic. Within days of consistent morning light, your system begins to recalibrate. Within weeks, the benefits compound. Within months, you may not even recognize the old version of you. That is how powerful this is. So let's crystallize the challenge. For the next 7 days, commit. No excuses. No too busy. No too cloudy. Step outside every morning within an hour of waking. Get your light. Record your experience. Watch the data of your own life change. And when it does, don't stop. Make it your baseline. Make it who you are. Because this is not just about light. This is about reclaiming control. This is about proving to yourself that you are not at the mercy of grogginess, of fatigue, of restless nights. You are in charge. You have the tools, you have the science, and you have the choice. So tomorrow morning, when the alarm goes off, remember this moment. Remember that you are one decision away from a different trajectory. Don't reach for the phone. Don't hide from the day. Step outside. Look at the sky. Let the photons hit your eyes. Feel your biology wake up and know that in that simple act, you are unlocking the version of you that has been waiting. This is your invitation. This is your challenge. This is your turning point. Take it. Thanks for watching Health Unlocked. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more expert-backed health insights. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.